Every year I walk into this room or wherever we are holding this, and I'm always so grateful to see our partners, to see our friends, to see, all of this support that we receive here at the foundation. It is just wonderful to have that. One of the big things, talking about support and everything else, is the support that we receive from the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven. And back there, if you guys could wave your hands, we are privileged to have the senior management team of the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven to join us here tonight. And Karen was here earlier, but she just had to leave for another meeting. And they had their annual meeting last night. So I am really honored that you said, okay, we'll still come out. We'll still come out. So we have just been privileged that we have their team here tonight. But on the list of the gratitude that we have for New Haven is the gift that the Valley has received of the introduction of the Great Give. We have been privileged for, I don't know how many years now, doing the Great Give. 17 years. And, yeah. So probably many of you know that the Great Give just finished up just a few days ago with record numbers. It did 4.8 billion, or 4.8 billion. Woo! Wow! Now that's a projection, right? 4.8 million in gifts, which was a record. I mean, it was over 4.8 million. And our local area did over $536,000 for our Valley nonprofits. It's just really, really incredible. And Jackie came in tonight and she actually gave me a piece of paper. Someplace, that piece of paper? I must have dropped it, with our Valley numbers on it. Thank you, Jackie. So there were 1,726 gifts that were made by Valley donors to 236 organizations. And these gifts totaled $191,897. "57 of our Valley-based organizations raised a total of $567,905. And that was from 2,259 donors, which is fantastic. Jackie and I spent some time yesterday, just a little bit of time, saying, planning for next year, because there's so much that we can share with you, the strategies. Jackie coming out and sharing some of the strategies of what you can do to help other nonprofits that you might be sitting on the board, and you might be able to help them come up with strategies, the person-to-person type of fundraising. So, stay tuned for that, but we really thank that wonderful gift of the Great Gift to the Valley. So thank you. So before I continue, I want to point out the beautiful centerpieces on your tables, because they really capture the spirit of this year's annual report theme. Built for what, boy, I am popping. Built for what comes next, sustaining today's impact, building tomorrow's legacy. These wonderful creations were conceived and designed by our own Beth Collette, with construction help and ideas from our VCF board member, Sylvia Pedis. Beth and Sylvia, thank you very much for bringing this idea to life, for your creativity and thoughtfulness. If you take a closer look, you'll see the blueprint patterns, drafting tools, rulers, compasses, protractors, and even tiny rolled up blueprints inside the jars. At first glance, they may seem simple or whimsical, but they actually represent something very important about the work VCF focused on throughout 2025. Strong communities do not happen by accident. They are planned carefully, built thoughtfully, and strengthened over time, just like a building, a bridge, a home, or a community foundation. The tools inside those jars symbolize preparation, vision, and careful work that happens long before anyone sees the final result. That is very much what VCF concentrated on this past year. In 2025, we spent a great deal of time strengthening the foundation beneath our future, building stronger community connections, growing leadership opportunities, expanding philanthropy, and creating pathways for future generations to stay engaged in the Valley. Some of that work and its benefits may not fully come to fruition for years and even decades, but that is what good planning and true stewardship is all about. And throughout tonight, and especially within the pages of the annual report that you'll receive, you will see how VCF is working every day to help build that future of the Valley. That's also why one of the biggest initiatives launched in 2025 was our 25 for the next 25. Many of you have heard about this already, but tonight I want to briefly explain exactly what that means. The slogan itself is simple, 25 for the next 25. It means building the scaffolding that is necessary to carry the Valley Community Foundation successfully for the next 25 years. Specifically, the campaign aims to grow well into the future VCF's unrestricted and discretionary resources to over $25 million through legacy giving and planned gifts. And that distinction is very important. This is not a traditional campaign for capital. We are not asking people to write large checks today. Instead, this campaign focuses on future giving, legacy gifts, leaving your legacy by giving back to the Valley as if it were a family. Planned gifts made through wills, retirement assets, and other instruments in your name ensure that the future generations in the Valley will continue to benefit from strong local philanthropy thanks to you. Why discretionary funds? Because these types of funds allow VCF to respond where and when needs emerge. They give VCF flexibility. They allow us to support urgent needs and issues and community building initiatives, volunteerism, civic vitality, and emerging challenges that none of us can fully predict today. The campaign's main goal is to keep growing our Gates Society, which Alita had mentioned earlier. In many ways, our Gates members are people making a promise to the future of the Valley. We are deeply grateful to everyone who has already stepped forward as part of that effort. And we want all those great Valley families, you know who you are, the families with the deep roots here. We want all of those families to be part of the Valley history by being a Gates member and a VCF fund holder. Another major focus for VCF in 2025 was reimagining our Board Advisory Council, our BAC. I've seen a number of you around the room tonight. Our BAC has existed for many years, but as part of our strategic planning process, we asked ourselves an important question. How could the BAC become even more engaged in strengthening community life throughout the Valley? The result was a renewed focus on pathways and projects centered around community engagement, volunteerism, civic pride, and Valleyness. One exciting example is a new initiative just for this year that you guys can all participate in, and it's tied to America's upcoming 250th anniversary. VCF is sponsoring, thanks to our board of directors, $25,000 pool for special community grants and micro grants to encourage valley-wide projects celebrating America's birthday while also bringing people together locally. We called to support this effort. VCF engaged Nicole Harriet McCullough. Is Jimmy Ticky still here? Nope, I think he's on. But this is Jimmy's sister, so she is wonderful, and downtown Shelton, I think, right? So we invited her to head up this group to invite community members such as our educators, historians at the historical societies, nonprofit leaders, and community volunteers throughout the Valley to form a committee who will help publicize the Valley's 250 celebrations and to identify Valley-wide projects that will inspire participation, celebrate local history, and strengthen community connections. They named their program, or this program, The Valley Celebrates America's 250. This is exactly the kind of work that helps preserve and grow Valleyness for future generations. If you have ideas and want to join, please watch our website for a link to The Valley Celebrates America's 250. There will be applications out there if you have some ideas of wanting to bring kids together, folks together, of how to celebrate the nation's 250. That will be wonderful. It's going to go on for until the money runs out. I'll say that. How's that? And so we're hoping that we are going to get a number of people, whether it's church groups or nonprofit groups or schools. You know, we were talking about all sorts of different things. It's a very exciting project when you put some thought into those things. Also, as a very special thank you and an incentive to demonstrate your national pride of our nation's founding, you'll receive a little takeaway gift for you when you're leaving with our annual report. I hope it's down here. Look at this. So, there we go. We hope that you'll enjoy this Betsy Ross style flag with the 250 on it as you start this new year of all these celebrations. You're going to be having all these different times to be able to have the flags either sitting in your driveway or out on the lawn, give it to your child. There's a lot of different things. We hope to be seeing a lot of these around the Valley. So you'll be collecting them as you leave. And now, tonight, one of my favorite parts of our annual reception, and I have to tell you that when we do the survey, and you'll get a survey tomorrow, when we do the survey, one of the favorite parts everybody says is about the new fund stories. They do enjoy hearing these stories of the new funds that are established. So, recognizing our new charitable funds established during the past year, each fund tells a story about generosity, a story about values, a story about someone choosing to make a lasting difference. Tonight we are honored to recognize 9 new funds established at the Valley Community Foundation during 2025. And we are deeply grateful to the individuals, families, and organizations and community leaders who created them. Together, these funds reflect nearly every aspect of what makes philanthropy in the Valley so special. Veterans supporting veterans, families honoring loved ones, organizations planning for the future, scholarships investing in young people, and donors stepping forward to strengthen the community that they love.